Welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful trendy circle top. So you can see this top is actually very simple and beautiful, and you can even make this dress in 20 minutes. So I'll be teaching you the tips and tricks to making this beautiful top. So this is what I came out with. You can see my belt. I've already tied it on my waist, and you can see my sleeve opening as well. So you can see the neckline. This is the back. You can see how beautiful this top is actually looking. It's very simple and beautiful. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn more. So here I'm making use of 2 yards of fabric. So the right fabric is Duchess fabric. I will encourage you to get 2 yards of Duchess. Okay, I don't have Duchess. I made use of Dollface satin fabric, but the right fabric is Duchess. Okay, so these 2 yards, I'm going to take the measurement for you to see. So from here I'm measuring 36 inches. 36 inches is a yard. This is 1 yard, and I'll place my tape and measure 2 yards, another 36 inches. So these 2 yards of fabric, the length comes at 60 inches. Okay, so make use of Duchess, and you also have the length of Duchess at 60 inches. So now we are going to put the 2 yards together. So I'm going to put it together. So once you put the 2 yards together, you will have 1 yard. Okay, so one part will be open and the other will be folded. So make sure you arrange it very well. As you can see me trying to arrange the 1 yard on fold very well. I want to separate the 2 yards into one yard. Okay, so I'm going to cut through the folded edge right now. So I'll go ahead to cut that folded edge, as you can see. So I will cut and separate this fabric, these 2 yards. So I'll be able to have 1 yard for the front, and the other 1 yard will be for the back. So after cutting and separating, we'll begin to draft on this fabric. So here I'm done cutting and I have 1 yard. So I'm going to pick up 1 yard and I'm going to place that 1 yard on fold for my drafting. So here is the 1 yard for the front. So that part is the 1 yard. So I'm going to take the measurement again, 36 inches. So I'm going to pick up that 36 inches and I'm going to fold it on the length. The length is 60 inches. So when you fold it, you will have 30 inches by length. And the yard remains 1 yard. So I'm going to place it, the open part. So that open part is going to serve as the starting point. So, but then we are going to first take the length of this dress. So I'm going to place my tape at the beginning. The length is 30 inches. So we are marking 30 inches all around. So from the tip, I'll keep marking 30 inches. I'll keep marking 30 inches. So I just keep marking the 30 inches until I get to the other length. So here I've gotten to the other length. You are going to cut out the flare part. Okay, the flare part is 30 inches. So I just go ahead and cut through the chalk line. So after cutting the chalk line, then we are going to start marking out the neckline. So I'm going to use this folded part will be my center front, and the open part will be the shoulder line. So here is my center front, and on the shoulder line I'll come down by 1 inch. So I'm going to create a border line of 1 inch. So this 1 inch border line, I'll just go ahead and rule my line across. So after ruling my line, the next I'm going to do is to take on that line, you are going to measure 6 inches is the neckline, 6 inches. Then I'll also place my tape on that center front and measure 22 inches. So 22 inches is the point at which we are going to start the sleeve opening past our arm. So after, from that 22, I'm going to mark either 27 or 28 inches. If you're on a bigger size, mark 28 inches. So this is my sleeve opening, and the rest of it will be closed. So this is my center front. So I'm going to fold the other one, the other fabric. I folded it the same way I did for the front. This is my center back. So I'll pick up the center front and lay the folded edge exactly on that folded center back. Make sure they are equal. So if you put them together, you will see the excess. So I'm going to align it very, very well and then secure with my pin. So make sure you align it very well and pin it up. So here I'm done pinning. So the next thing we are going to do now, you know the back part is lower. Okay, it's a high-low. So I'm now going to take the measurement from that starting point. So from that starting point, I'm using 36 inches. So I'll just mark 36 inches, just the way I marked the 30 inches on the front. So I'll keep marking 36 inches. I'll keep marking 36 inches. I will mark it until I get to the end or the edge of the fabric. So once I get to the edge of the fabric, I'll go ahead and blend that part up. I'll just blend it to touch the end of it, as you can see. So this is a high-low circle top. So I'll just go ahead and cut out that part. So you cut it out, and that will be the back piece. So you can see the front is shorter than the back piece. So the next thing we are going to do now, you are going to take your waist measurement. My waist measurement is 17 inches. From my shoulder to my waist is 17 inches. Then on that line, I'm going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4. So mine is 10 inches. Waist is 40, divided by 4 is 10 inches. Then I came up by 1 inch and 1 inch from that line. So in other words, I have 2 inches opening for my belt. So my belt space is 2 inches. So after that, we are going to make notches on the 6 inches neckline. You make a notch, and then you make a notch on the 22 inches arm and on the 27 or 28 inches, depending on your size. So make sure you make these necessary notches, okay? So after making the notches, we'll begin to stitch the belt space. So I make sure I make those notches, okay? The notches has to get to that border line. So I'll take off the front piece. So we are going to work on the front piece. So I'll open it up, and we are going to work on this belt space right now because we need to open it and finish it up neatly. So I'll just pick it up right now, but then I'm also going to mark this line on the other side. So I'm going to take my measurement of my shoulder to my waist. So I marked my 1 inch border line first, and I came down by 17 inches. So make sure it matches exactly. So I'm going to also take my waist circumference divided by 4 again. So here is my waist circumference divided by 4. And I did exactly the same thing I did on the other side. So after that is done, this is what you are going to have. So I'm going to take the measurement to be sure I have 20 inches, which is half of my waistline. So the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to create the belt space. So I cut a piece of fabric of 3 inches length and 2 inches width. I have 2 pieces right there. So I'll just go ahead and make a little pinch. You make a little pinch. So this pinch, don't make it too much. You can see how little it is on that line. So I'm going to place that piece of fabric right side to right side, and make sure you get the midpoint. So I'm trying to make sure that it is just at the center. So after placing it at the center, I secure with my pin horizontally. So make sure you pin horizontally so you'll be able to sew with your pin right there. So the other point, I'll also place right side to right side. I make sure I got the midpoint, and I'll also pin horizontally. So after pinning, we'll go over to the sewing machine. I'm going to show you how to stitch this part and have a good finishing. So I'm going to turn it to the back and we are going to stitch. So right here on the machine, you can see what I have. So I'll just follow that line I made at the back. You see what I have at the back. So make sure you weave that part. Please weave it. Weave or serge it before you place it on the fabric. So I will go ahead to stitch. I'll just stitch very, very close to that line. Don't make the opening so much, so open. Just stitch very, very, very close. So I try stitching very, very close. So I'll just stitch as you can see me do right here. So after stitching, I back stitched. So this is what I got. You can see what I got right here, just very, very close. So the next thing we are going to do now, I'm going to cut off my thread and we are going to open up that space. So you can see what I have on the both sides. So next, we are going to also pinch it again, just like we pinched the first one. We'll pinch both this facing and the fabric. So you cut straight. Your first cutting will be straight up and down. Then after cutting straight, you are going to also cut diagonally. Okay, because it's just like a square, you just cut diagonally. So when you cut diagonally, you will just have a ducktail at that part. You see a little snip of triangle at that part. So it will enable this to come over when you are turning it, to relax very well. So now this is what I have at the back. So I'll just go ahead and push it to the front. Okay, that is the right side. I'll push it to the wrong side. Then I'm going to secure with my pins and then stitch on it. So make sure you set this fabric, okay? So I'll secure with my pins. So I want you to watch how I'm pinning, okay? So I'll pin. You can see how I pinned. So I'll just go ahead and stitch very close to them. So make sure you serge this fabric before you use it, or else it will be bringing out those fabric. So I'll go over to the machine. I'll turn to the right side. I'm going to stitch from the right side, and I'm going to stitch very, very close as well, as if I'm top stitching. So I will go ahead and stitch that part. Make sure you stitch very, very neatly. That part needs to be very neat. So once you get to the end, you back stitch. So this is what I have. So I'm going to remove my pins, and I'm done sewing the both sides. So I just gave it a good press. So we are done. So the next thing is to place the back and front, right side to right side, the center back, front and back, just place them right side to right side and make sure you pin on the notches. So I'm pinning on the neckline notch. So I'm pinning on the neckline notches. So make sure the notches are equal. So I'm trying to arrange the notches to be sure they are very equal. So I also placed my pin on the notches of the sleeve opening too. So I also did the same. So my neckline is 12 inches now. Okay, when I open it is 12 inches. So I'm going to mark my 1 inch on the part I'm going to stitch. I'm going to chalk it 1 inch, the part I'm going to stitch. So once I get to the neckline, I'll stop. So I'll start from the other neckline. I'll mark 1 inch. That is where I'm going to stitch. So the sleeve opening, I will leave that part open. Then I'll also mark 1 inch to close up that other side. So I will repeat the same thing. I'll also leave the sleeve opening and mark 1 inch. So I will go over to the machine right now. I'm going to stitch all the pattern I chalked. I'm going to stitch them. So I will start stitching on the chalk line. So where the chalk line stops, I'm going to stop and back stitch. Then leave the sleeve part opening. I'll leave the sleeve part open. Then I'll go over to sew the shoulder seam line. So I'm going to sew the shoulder seam line from the arm area. I'll sew it all the way to the neckline. So once I get to the neckline where my chalk stops, I'm going to back stitch. So I'm done. This is my sleeve opening right here. So next we are going to finish up the sleeve opening. So you just spread open that 1 inch. You can go and give it a good press. Okay, make sure you serge this dress, okay, this fabric, serge it before you even stitch the shoulder part. So I spread it open. You can iron it open before you stitch. So I'll go over and stitch right on top of it. So you can decide to stitch straight, you can decide to make a square with it. So whichever way is fine and good. So you can see how I'm stitching the sleeve opening right there. So I'll stitch it all the way until I get to this other end. Okay, so this is what you are going to have after you are done stitching. So this is how my sleeve opening looks like. So I will also sew the other sleeve that same way. So coming over to the neckline, if you look at the original dress we are trying to sew, they used a hemming gum. Okay, so you can insert your hemming gum inside it. You can also decide to stitch, but I prefer inserting my hemming gum. It will make that part neat. So I'll just go ahead and use my hemming gum. I'm going to iron on it. I'll iron on it. So here I'm trying to give this dress a good press. So I'll just go ahead and iron the neckline. In fact, that 1 inch I'm ironing everything all the way through. So that is my sleeve opening and my neck opening and my belt opening. So everything is neat. So you need to go and serge or you use bias to finish up the hem line. So whichever way. So now the dress is ready and this is the belt space. So I'm going to take the measurement of my belt. My belt width is 5 inches. So I'm going to stitch half an inch. So I stitch close the ends of my belt and I opened it at the center. So I'm going to turn my belt from the center right now. So from the two closed ends, I'm going to use my screwdriver to turn it to that center front. The part I left open, I'll go ahead and turn it. Then from the other closed end, I'll turn it to the other side. So after I'm done turning them, that part that is open, I'm going to top stitch on it. Of course, you know how to sew your belt, so just go and use any method you know how. Just sew a 2 inches belt for this. So I'll just go ahead and top stitch. So I'm done with my belt and I gave it a good press. So the belt is ready right now. So one more thing to this dress is the front line. So you can see the front is shorter than the back, okay? It's a high-low. So I'm going to pick up the front on the center front. So make sure you match it so we'll be able to shape in or take our exact length for the front. So make sure you place it very well. The belt hold on both parts has to be at the same point. So from the shoulder, I'm going to take the measurements of the length of my dress at 25 inches. So I want it to be at 25 inches. So I'm going to rule a straight line. Okay, I will rule a straight line from that point just to cut off that curvy part. So I will go ahead and chop this part off. So if you also want to repeat the same thing for the back, you can still repeat what I did right here for the front, for the back. So it depends on the length you want for the back. You can leave the back like that. You can do the same thing like that. So I'll go over to the machine now, to the weaving machine, and now serge or weave. So after that, the dress is ready, and that is how we'll come to the end of this tutorial. You can go ahead and insert your belt the way you see it in the video, and you are going to tie it to your body. Okay, you just tie the belt to your body and the back will be free. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial once again. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again, and thanks for following Seam Right. See you in the next video. Bye.